Welcome to Spooky News from Spooky Ventures. Today's date is September 27th, and we're less than a week away from October and the full march toward Halloween. Of course, here at Spooky Ventures, we always say spooky is a lifestyle, not a season. In fact, we have a full line of merchandise available with several different designs to make that point clear. Even so, it's always nice when the rest of the world is on the same page with those of us in the Spooky Tribe. By the way, you can find that merch and more at cafepress.com/shop/spookyventures. Now, before we get to the actual news for this episode of Spooky News, I need to get the usual announcements out of the way. First, if you want more information on any of the things we talk about here, there are two places you can find that. The first one is, if you hang with this video, after we're done talking, you will find the source and more information URLs as title cards at the end. You can also find all those links in the details section of this video listing. Next, remember, this YouTube channel and really everything Spooky Ventures is meant to be interactive, so please interact. You can do that by liking our videos, sharing our videos, or subscribing to our channel. You can also do that by commenting or contacting us at keepitspooky@spookyventures.com. We would love to hear from you. Now with that out of the way, let's check in with our remote reporter, DB Lovecraft. DB will have some music and merchandise news to get us started. DB, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Gary. I'm just taking in the sights and sounds of the season. And speaking of sounds, as you mentioned, I'm starting with some music news. First, the band Revivalist have a new music video out that seems to be perfect for spooky season. The song is titled Zombie Wild Coming Out, and the video features the band running from some unseen threat. Now, apparently the song is actually about the fact that we're so tied to our devices that our dreams are the only place where we can be wild and use our imagination, because it's when we aren't connected to our phones. Even so, the title and video make it suitable for this time of year. Next, we'll turn to some music that's more directly tied to Halloween. A new album called The Killer Sounds of Halloween, the final chapter, will be released on October 1st. As you can probably guess from the title, it's part of a series of albums. This is the fourth disc. It's interesting though, because while all the songs are spooky, in terms of subject matter, it's not limited to one genre. It's a bit of a Halloween trick though. That's because it is released as a various artists album with 13 different artists doing 13 different songs. It's actually all the work of one person, actor and writer Sean Keller. There's a new single from Ice Nine Kills that also directly ties into the horror. The band is really a horror-based act, so that's no surprise. Bearing the title A Work of Art, the new song is based on the Terrifier films and will be included on the soundtrack to Terrifier 3. Fans of Hocus Pocus are in for a special Halloween treat. Those who also like Monster High will really be pleased. That's because the sisters from Hocus Pocus are going to be released as Monster High-style figures. They'll be available on October 4th. They will be sold as a set that also includes Binks the Cat and will retail for $125. Super 7 has been releasing an interesting series of action figures the last few years. They are trick-or-treating kids in authentic vintage costumes. This year they are turning their attention to Universal Monster costumes. Each figure will include either a trick-or-treat bag or bucket. The four costumes that will be available are Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. They come in a set of 4. Now back to you, Gary.
Thanks, DB. We'll continue with some movie news. Leading us off, let's look at a movie tied to the Universal Monsters. One of the monsters that Super 7 isn't featuring in this year's collection is the Wolfman. As I reported last time, there's a new Wolfman movie in the works. Well, some more news has come out about that film recently. That includes a new image that we haven't seen before that's been released, and word that the movie is going to be a pure horror film. Apparently there was some confusion about that at one point. In another tie-in to something you talked about, Terrifier 3 hasn't hit theaters yet, but it's already been revealed that the fourth movie in the series is being planned. Other than the fact that it will exist, not much is known about Terrifier 4 yet, though. A new supernatural horror movie asks what would happen if a group of teens play a game of spin the bottle in an abandoned house where a mass murder happened. Spin the Bottle is the title of the film, actually, and it's being released digitally by Paramount on October 4th with a new trailer recently released. If you, like me, are a big fan of vampires, a movie coming out in March should be of interest to you. A period film, Sinners, is set to hit theaters on March 7th. A new trailer has been released for the movie. Now, let's get back to DB for some television news.
A science fiction horror series called Teacup is coming to Paramount. The James Wan production is an adaptation of the book Stinger by Robert R. McCammon. Paramount will be releasing 2 episodes each week leading up to Halloween. A new trailer has recently been unleashed to give viewers an idea of what to expect from that. Tim Burton recently worked with Jenna Ortega in Beetlejuice. It turns out their collaborations didn't end there, though. As more information has been released about the upcoming season of the Addams Family spin-off series Wednesday, which stars Ortega as the title character, it was revealed that Burton is directing or did direct 4 of the 8 episodes in the upcoming season. Wednesday is a popular Netflix original series, so it's a good bet that a lot of viewers are excited for this new season. Now I'll send it back to you, Gary.
Thanks, DB. That brings us to the end of the regular news. But if you have followed spooky news regularly, you'll know that we'll be looking at some dates on the spooky calendar. We'll let DB cover that, but first we need to remind you of a couple of things. First, this YouTube channel and all things Spooky Ventures are supposed to be interactive, so please interact. You can do that on YouTube by liking our videos, commenting, sharing our videos, and subscribing. You can also contact us directly at keepitspooky@spookyventures.com. Now remember, if you want more information about anything we've talked about, you can wait until the end of this video where it will be included as title cards. But if you don't want to wait, you can actually just take a look at the details section of this video. All those links are included there. Now we're going to turn it over to DB for some dates from our spooky calendar. Remember, our calendar lists dates that should be of interest to fans of all things spooky. You can find the calendar at the main page at spookyventures.com. Just scroll down to the bottom of that page for the link. Now, DB, what dates are on the calendar this time?
First, 2 movies open today. Those films are Azrael and The Curse of the Necklace. Keep in mind with all these movie release dates, we get the dates from various places on the internet, and we aren't told where the movies are playing. They might be wide releases or limited, or even be releases to streaming, so you'll need to check on that yourself. In what feels a lot like self-promotion, next Tuesday, October 1st, the 8th episode of Spooky Movies I'm with Scary Gary will be released on this YouTube channel. I won't give you a lot of details, but I will say that some circumstances that came up along the line while we were doing it mean that I have a larger role in this episode than I have in previous ones. There are 3 movies opening next Friday, October 4th. Those movies are Haunt Season, Little Bites, and Monster Summer. That same date is horror author Anne Rice's birthday. Clive Barker's birthday is the next day, Saturday the 5th. Well, that's it for calendar dates for this time, Gary, so I'll turn it back to you.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of Spooky News. The plan right now is to be back in 1 week for another edition, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, remember, spooky is a lifestyle, not a season, so always keep it spooky. Spooky Ventures is the home for spooky content and spooky merchandise on the web. Check it out today at spookyventures.com. And remember, always keep it spooky.